ladies and gentlemen, to the 600th episode of Reaction and Review. Yes, guys, we are finally here. After a month of counting down to this moment, we are finally here at episode 600. And I'm going to tell you guys, I am so happy to be here. I am completely psyched. I cannot wait to dive into this movie. And what movie is it? Well, I gave you guys the chance to vote. I held a 16-movie tournament on this channel, and when all was said and done, when the dust settled, you guys spoke out. You spoke out unanimously, and you said you wanted episode 600 to be an animated film from 2009 called 9, which, if memory serves, is a post-apocalyptic film about essentially little sewn dolls who all have numbers on their backs who come to life, and I vaguely remember the plot summary when I read it, and I remember seeing the ads for this thing back in 2009. It looked really awesome then. And oh my god, guys, when this thing won the episode 600 tournament, I was so excited. Because it finally gave me a reason to watch this. I bought this thing on Blu-ray over a year ago, wanting to cover it for this series, and I never found a spot in the schedule. You guys forced it on the schedule with this vote, and that is awesome. I finally get to watch it, and I have no more excuses. I'm certainly hoping for 9 to be a good film, but honestly, I have no earthly clue. The only way I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. And so, for the 600th time in this series, it's time to sit back and relax as we check out 9. I'm going to tell you guys right now, at least so far, this story is absolutely amazing. It is completely enthralling. I love everything I've seen so far about the story. The only thing I love more is the amount of detail that has gone into everything animated in this film. I am talking everything from nicks and scratches on glass, to wear marks on wood, to fraying on ropes. There is so much detail here that I'm just seeing it more and more. And these bombed out city, the bombed out city that this thing is set in, it looks equal parts gorgeously beautiful and insanely depressing at the same time. I fucking love this, guys. So, the machine built this bat thing. We finally got a nice view of it. I'm going to tell you guys, this thing looks rather creepy. Looks awesome, but kind of creepy at the same time. It's actually incredibly cool. Unsettling, but fucking cool. Sorry guys if I haven't been saying much for the past few minutes. This movie is just that fucking good. I have just found myself getting sucked into it more and more, and the machine looks like it's about to harvest another soul. And it's probably going to be as unsettling as the last 2 times it's happened. Yep, that's still ridiculously fucking creepy. And I don't think I'm ever going to get used to that. Anyway, though, the movie's fucking amazing. The story's awesome, and the fucking machine harvesting souls is probably going to give me nightmares for a long-ass time, because goddammit, that is creepy as fuck. Well, guys, that was 9, and wow, that was far better than I thought it was going to be. Let me shut that off. I guess I should start by kind of trying to punctuate that. Allow me to explain. I went into this movie with very high expectations, okay? I had fond memories, all fucking, be it really vague memories of what I saw in the trailers and in the television ads and everything else. I had high hopes going into this thing. I had set the bar mentally incredibly high, and this movie vaulted over my expectations and is, wow, god damn it, man, the sucker is good. Okay, now I get to try to explain. Okay, writing. I want to talk about the one major fault I found with this movie. And granted, it is kind of a, okay, in most cases, this would be a major fault, but I'm going to try to explain how it's not that bad here, but it is worth mentioning, and it is that the film feels a little bit rushed, okay? Guys, the credits begin rolling about an hour and 12 minutes into the movie, okay? So you have just over 70 minutes of content before the credits hit, which, in most cases, is fine. But this story could have really done with another half hour or 45 minutes to really flesh out a lot more shit. And I'm not even talking about our main characters. Our main core of 9 characters are treated exceptionally well in the script in terms of giving them personality and depth and making you care. The problem comes from the villain, you see. The villain of this piece is a self-thinking machine, which was built by a scientist. The scientist wanted this thing to be used for good. It is heavily hinted at that the country he's in is Nazi Germany, and the chancellor wants to use this guy's fucking self-thinking machine to build more machines, specifically for the war effort. Now, this thing hates building these things and working for the chancellor. So, fucking machine and everything it builds turned on man, and that is why this movie is in the bombed out hellscape that it is in, is because of a big war between man and machine. And machine pretty much won, technically. Anyway, I'm not going to go into any more detail. I really don't want to spoil the whole war story because there are a few scenes that show it, that actually show the war, and it's amazing. The problem is that we are given a little bit of we're given a little bit of history about this thing. Unfortunately, it's really not enough, and they could have gone so much further. But the real problem is that this thing builds other robots in order to stop our crew of 9 stitched-up sack people. And what this machine builds are awesome looking, and they should pose an amazing threat, and they really don't. Okay, so like the first one that is built is a bat. Really awesome bat. Now mind you, this thing is building all of these robots out of whatever scraps and junk and spare parts it is able to find. So it builds this bat, and the bat looks both awesome and creepy at the same time. And if I was a sack person about yay tall, and I saw this big fucking thing coming at me, I would be terrified. And you would think that it would pose an awesome threat. I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler. It really doesn't. It kind of looks like it's going to pose a threat, and then it gets wiped out in a scant few minutes. The next thing that goes after them is a snake. Once more, looks both awesome and creepy, but it doesn't pose much of a threat because it has almost no screen time because credits are rolling an hour and 12 minutes in. I would have loved it if the bat and the snake would have gotten a little bit more time because they look awesome, and they could have each been given like 20 minutes easy to have posed as a massive threat. Could have been really awesome to watch, and it would have, I guess, added a bit more character to our main villain because it would show that this thing knows how to build threatening machines using just scraps and junk. But unfortunately, because we have to blitz through the bat and the snake and any other threat which comes, including our main villain towards the end. Even that fight feels incredibly rushed. That honestly is the one problem, is that this movie wants to. It really wants to tell a fantastic story, but it sadly is in such a hurry to get to the end that it kind of feels as if it's missing something, and that something could have easily filled a good half hour, 45 minutes. I would have loved it if this movie would have clocked in at, maybe about 90 minutes, 2 hours. It would have been great. I know for a fact that they could have gotten more. That is my one problem, guys, is the pacing. This thing is going so fast that you rarely have time to really process anything which comes. Now, with that said, I will say that when it comes to our group of 9 SAC people, all of them are given ample time to show off their quirks and their personality, and you're going to find yourself caring about every single one of these characters. There actually, guys, is a scene which was incredibly emotional for me. And it's when one of these characters dies. I'm going to give you a spoiler. A bunch of them die over the course of this film, but this one was the first one to go. And they hold a funeral for it. Or they hold a funeral for this character. They hold a funeral for him. You've known this character for less than 5 minutes. He's been in the film, on camera, for less than 5 minutes. And you watch this funeral scene, and you almost want to cry. I got to the ending. The ending is also another funeral. It's a bit more of a larger scale funeral. I found myself fighting back tears because it was a very touching scene, and the way that it was handled incredibly well, and I absolutely adored it. Our characters here are handled incredibly well when it comes to the heroes. The villains are not given enough time to really flourish, and that is my one problem here when it comes to writing. And I'm not about to say that it almost ruins the movie. It really fucking doesn't. It's just that I believe that this thing would have benefited more if we would have fleshed out the big looming threat. But hey, you know what? What is here works, and it works incredibly well. In terms of story, pacing, character depth, character arcs, everything here works except for the pacing. And that is something that is going to haunt me, but god damn it, this movie is too fucking good for me to let that bother me too much. Now, besides the fact that the script is for the most part incredibly strong, another thing that really makes this thing stand out is the acting. Guys, we have a stellar cast. Alright, we have an amazing cast. I actually have most of them listed on the back of the Blu-ray here. So we have Martin Landau, Crispin Glover, Christopher Plummer, Jennifer Connelly, Elijah Wood, and right here is the one that shocks me, John C. Reilly. Guys, I have seen John C. Reilly attempt to act numerous times in a whole lot of different projects. The man has never impressed me in the slightest. I honestly could easily say I straight up do not like John C. Reilly as an actor. But what he did here, and his performance in this movie, was amazing. I've never seen John C. Reilly put this much personality into any performance he has ever given. And for that, I am going to praise him in ways I have never imagined praising him. John C. Reilly actually got off of his lazy ass and learned to act. And my God, his short time in this movie is amazing. Every actor's performance here is so great. Nobody here is phoning it in. Everybody is giving 150%, and that makes this whole thing amazing. So we have fantastic acting. We have a slightly flawed but otherwise amazing script. And when those two things come together, awesome things happen. And it's not just those two things, guys, that shine. Let's talk about the animation. Okay? I mentioned earlier about all of the detail you see in every single shot. You can sit there, and if you see a piece of glass, you will see every single scrape and nick on that glass. On wood, you will see every single nick and scrape and wear mark. The same thing with metal, same thing with ropes. On every single one of our sack people, you will see every single fiber on their body, every stitch in sight, and it all looks amazing. There is an absolutely breathtaking amount of detail put into every single facet of this movie. And it's that kind of detail that really makes this movie stand out. And it helps give this movie a look that is totally exclusive to this movie. One thing that I'm going to comment on, besides the fact that our characters all look incredibly cool, especially the various threats which come after our small troop of sack people, is the setting itself. This bombed out city. This city that has seen war and has seen the worst end of it. I have seen bombed out cities in various movies and video games in the past. In fact, my favorite video game of all time is Fallout 3, where you do nothing but walk through bombed out cities which look breathtakingly gorgeous. This outdoes that in terms of just making sheer unholy destruction look just beautiful. And you sit there and you look at it and you just see every single crumbling building and every shattered window, every little detail. And you're gonna look at it, and the very first time that they fucking panned out and you saw what was left of the first fucking room's building, when you see what's left of it, I was struck dumb. I was absolutely struck silent and this is going to sound really weird considering the fact that it's a bombed out city, but just how beautiful the whole thing looked. It just had this look to it that stood out, and the whole film is brimming with that. Alright, we have mountains of detail, we have mountains of very awesome looking devastation and leftover helmets and shell casings and unfired bullets, unfired fucking grenades, everything. And it all looks fantastic. Guys, this is probably one of the best looking CG films I have ever seen. And I have seen a handful of things from Pixar and DreamWorks and other major studios who regularly pump out these sorts of movies. I don't think any of them have ever hit the level of sheer detail that I saw in this movie. Moreover, I have not seen any of them that have the same kind of the same kind of unique, beautiful look that this movie has. This thing here has this movie has a look and a feel that is totally exclusive to it, and that is why it stands out so well. Everything else here, guys, our score, our soundtrack, all of that is fantastic. Our lighting in every shot is great. However, that really isn't a big shock because this is a fucking CG film and you're rendering your lighting as you're making your shots. It's all done in fucking programs, so it's not really a big deal. The sound and everything, guys, from like sound mix, sound effects, everything here is great. Guys, am I able to recommend 9? Yes, I absolutely recommend 9. This movie is a masterpiece. This movie is fantastic. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I normally don't say that a movie is breathtaking. But God damn it, that is a perfect way to sum up 9. It is a beautiful movie from top to bottom, and if it didn't have those slight pacing problems, I would probably say that this goddamn thing would rank amongst my favorite movies of all time. However, because of the problems involving pacing, that is what's keeping it off of any sort of all-time favorites list. But still, I love this thing. I love what I saw. I love every second of it. I'm so happy I bought this thing when I had the chance. This movie is amazing. If you have not seen 9, you owe it to yourself to go out and watch it. I personally loved it. I have a strong feeling you guys are also going to love this movie. And I want to take a moment, because this is, after all, the 600th episode of this series. And I do this every 100th episode, but god damn it, it just feels special here, because, guys, I totally know I say this every time I hit a fucking 100th episode. I didn't even think this series would hit 100 episodes, much less 600. But that's all thanks to you guys. I want to thank every single person who has watched me and followed me over the years. I do not care if you've been watching me since I started this series. I don't care if you started watching me before I started this series, when I was doing all my rants and all that other crap. I don't care if this is my first video you've ever seen. I want to thank each and every one of you for giving me a chance and for being able to entertain you time after time. It feels so great. I love every single one of you guys, and it is thanks to you that this series has gotten as far as it has gotten. And with any luck, we will be here for another 600 episodes, because there are still a fuckload of movies I still have to watch. I still feel the urge to watch, and as long as there are movies to watch, and as long as there is blood pumping through my fucking heart, I'm going to continue to do this series, because I love doing it and I love entertaining you guys. It has been a fantastic 600 episodes. I want to thank each and every one of you for fucking joining me. I have said it. I have said it before, and I will say it again. You guys are the best fan base any human being could ever ask for. I love each and every one of you fuckers. You all rock so hard. This feels so awesome, guys. I'm so happy to have hit 600 episodes. This feels great. I'm going to go out and fucking celebrate. This was amazing. With that, my friends, we come to the close of the 600th reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.